Hello people, if you're watching this this new playlist that I'm making for my YouTube channel, basically last night was when question time was on, so this is a political playlist about question time, and I'm just going to be going over the questions and just having my view on what I think of the questions. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just having a view. That's not for me to decide. Obviously, I feel I'm right, but that doesn't mean I'm right with other people because everyone's got different views. So, yeah, so let's get going. I've got the first question here. If I get the first question ready, and then we can go from there. So these questions may not be perfect because obviously I'm not playing the clip. But here's the first question from last night, which was, well, it's the 17th or was it the 16th? I can't remember now. But here we go. This is the first question.
Theresa May said that now is not the time for Scottish independence referendums. When is the time?
So, about Scottish independence. As an English person, I would be gutted if Scotland left. You know, like everyone has said. You know, this is partly why I hate nationalist parties, because they say in one breath that they unite, but then in another they're dividing, and at this moment in time with countries so in debt, you know, it's like it's a boost to nationalists to divide countries and think that they could do better. Overall, I haven't got an issue with the SNP asking Scotland, asking the people. That's democracy. There's nothing wrong with that. It is definitely opportunist. It's kind of stinks like a Tory opportunist, like Tories done in 2010 with the banking crisis in America, or everything was Labour. This is exactly the same what the SNP is doing. They've made a judgment that they've come out, they want a new referendum, independent referendum, and they're doing it for opportunists. They know that the Tory party is weak as anything. The only thing that's propping the Tory part, well, this Tory government up, is the media. Everyone's saying Corbyn's not holding the Tories to account, but the reality is, a party cannot do nothing if it's the opposition. All they can do is have their view, and that's what Corbyn do. He has his view, but then the media just attacks him for it. So, you know, and they're bigging up SNP, saying they're the ones holding the Tories to account. And I'm sorry, that's just wrong. They're not, because the SNP don't care about Westminster. They really don't care. Their main goal is to get independence, and they're doing it in a very opportunist way now. And I just feel that's not right, especially when the country, you know, if they wanted to do this, they should have done it before the EU referendum broke. They should have done it then, not been part of the vote, and then after the vote, because it didn't go their way, they're playing up like babies. You know, I voted Remain. I'm just as gutted as anyone else that, you know, we're leaving the EU. I think it's the biggest mistake this country will have done for a long time. But the vote is the vote. We've got to respect the vote. Even though it was only a 2% margin to leave, it was still a clear vote to leave the EU. But as for Scotland leaving, because of they want to be part of the EU, it's just chaos. The only thing I would say with the rules on the independence for Scotland is they take a fair proportion of the national debt, of the UK debt, you know, based on their size. So, you know, at the end of the day, we've got 100%, well, we've got more than 100% of debt, obviously. But what I'm saying is, Scotland being the third biggest country in the United Kingdom, they should take the second slice of the debt. So can they really afford it economically? And there's even that question about the UK leaving the EU, but that's a different subject. I will leave it there. I think I've said how I felt with that. I would be gutted if they left, but then at the end of the day, that's their decision. And as someone said in the audience, maybe it's about time that the rest of the UK had a vote on if they want Scotland to be in the Union. It's a very I don't know, that's one avenue, I suppose. I would like to think the rest of the UK would vote overwhelmingly to keep Scotland in. But who knows in this political chaos we're in now. So I'll move on to the next question now, which I kind of covered a little bit of, I suppose. So here's the next question now.
Is the will of the 52% worth more than keeping a united kingdom? In other words, it's...
So, I think I've already kind of covered this question in a way. I don't think it should be an issue. The SNP, the Nationalist Party, is tearing up the United Kingdom. They're the ones that's been playing this, we could do everything better ourselves. And I can't, with the Tory Party being the Tory Party, deep down, this Tory government wouldn't be sad to see Scotland go. All they're coming out with is just rhetoric, saying, oh no, we don't want Scotland to go. But in private, I bet every MP's loving it. The fact that if Scotland goes, the rest of the UK would definitely become a Tory-run country. That's part of the reason why I want Scotland to stay, because it's like the backbone of the United Kingdom. I just don't want them to go. And at the end of the day, there is a large amount of people that do want to go, and they're never going to stop. So, as I voted Remain in the Brexit referendum, well, whatever you want to call it, I just think it's the biggest mistake ever. I think there's definitely a possibility that it's going to split, because the Tory Party, deep down, they don't want to take the blame for splitting up the Union, but at the same time they don't care if Scotland left, because all they've got is one MP, and generally they don't do no good up Scotland anyway. So it to them is all about just the PR image of not being seen, or letting Scotland go easy, or not. Behind closed doors, I bet the Tories are loving it, because they want SNP to take Scotland out of the UK, because they know they'll have power a hell of a lot longer. Seeing I've already talked about that, I'll move on to my next question now. So this is the next question.
Looking at the Brexit negotiations. In light of David Davis's admission that no economic assessment has been carried out on the effects of a hard Brexit, should the triggering of Article 50 be delayed?
I'm sorry, people. David Davis was for Brexit. Now, I do not buy for 1 second that the government did not do any process or forecast looking into what the outcome is. I'm sorry, I do not buy that. Is total crap. What they've done is they've done a forecast, but they've seen it to be really negative, because it's gonna be, and they don't want to talk about that, because negativity breeds more negativity. So it's better to take the political hit and say, well, no, we haven't done that, and try and protect the country a little bit from the negativity, than it is to say, well, yeah, we've done that. Here's our findings. He's a Brexit supporter. they ain't going to want to release stuff that goes against the Brexit campaign. So, I do not buy it for 1 second that the government's massive. We've got so many departments, financial department. I don't buy it for 1 second. I cannot believe how naive people's being, actually believing that the government hasn't done no forecasts. Theresa's May's speech pretty much outlined that they've done one, because she said, well, how would she know no deal is better than a bad deal if they haven't done a forecast? It's a load of crap. It really is. It's just the Brexit per that David Davis and the other three. There's part of it, Boris and the other one, and then you've got Ian Duncan Smith. Then you've got Gove. They're all in it up to their knees, and they know what they've done, but they don't care, because as far as they're concerned, their family wealth has been reduced because of the EU. So that's why they want out. They want out through personal reasons. We're so deep in the EU, it's going to be a nightmare getting out, and it's going to be chaos. So I'll move on to the next question now. So this is the final question. I think there was only 4 questions, but this is the last question now.
Isabella Spooner to the office. Should Philip Hammond resign? Nice straightforward.
The Chancellor. I watched his speech, and yet again he was concentrating more on the jokes. He was making jokes and jabs at Jeremy Corbyn more than he was doing his job. The way that the Tory party is at the moment, it's in more chaos than the Labour Party. Just that the media is not saying so. The media don't want to talk about that because they're government. You don't talk about. You don't want to potentially bring your government into chaos, even though the Tory party is in chaos. And just like I said, Chancellors makes forecasts and makes decisions on forecasts, and there's always that judgment call if it's going to be right or if it's going to be wrong. Hammond made the mistake by trying to say that Category 4 national insurance wasn't included in their manifesto. That's just so much crap. How can you expect the average person to start asking such detailed questions, and then MPs in a general election to start saying, well, hold on, we're covered in the level 1, but we're not. It's just crap. And that's why they had to back down, because they knew it was a manifesto pledge that they will not do it. And they've also tied their hands completely with all tax, pretty much. Oh, we won't put up tax, we won't put up tax. Like this pension thing, the new pension thing all companies got to have. All that is a hidden tax. Because the Tory party has put themselves in such a position in power that they can't put up tax, because it's against their manifesto and their pledges. It's just, you can't run a government like that. That's why the NHS is in crisis. That's why all public sectors are in crisis. Because the Tory party has just got to keep cutting back and cutting back. And that's not helping no one now. Austerity is failed. Full stop. There's no getting away from that. Summing up tonight's programme, I found it very, very disappointing. I cannot believe that they've totally ignored the Tory party getting fined £70,000 for lying in a general election. How can a show that says, oh well, we're political correct? You're not. You totally ignored that big question. That's a massive question. This issue could end up causing a general election, and yet Question Time, which is meant to be one of the biggest BBC political programmes, has just totally ignored it. I do not buy for a second that no one asked that question in the audience. The producers choose not to ask that question. They picked the questions and they didn't want to go down that road, and I find that very disappointing. So tonight's show was very disappointing, and yet again, like with all question time shows, I don't think there's been a single one in recent months where they haven't been able to have a dig at Jeremy Corbyn. I'm no massive fan of Jeremy Corbyn, but I listen to what the man says, and what he says makes sense to me. And I would urge everyone who's watching this to listen to Jeremy Corbyn. Don't listen to the hype of the media and the spin that they say. Some reporters put so much spin on it, it's unbelievable. It really is. You've got to listen to Jeremy firsthand. Don't listen to reporters twisting what he says, because that's not right. That's not right for us, the public, and it's not fair on Jeremy Corbyn to twist what he says and to make it sound a lot worse than what it is. Well, he's wrong. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll be doing one of these every week, hopefully getting it out for 10 o'clock the following day. But yeah, overall, I found it a bit of a disappointment. You know, how they just totally ignored the Tory crisis, I don't know. Imagine if that was Labour. Labour would be on. Half the show would be dedicated to Labour and Jeremy Corbyn's chaos Labour Party. It's just so. The Tories in chaos and no media outlets there. It's so frustrating. It's unbelievable. So I'll leave it here. I'll leave it here. I'll end it here until next week. Hope if you do like it, give it a like and a subscribe, and you will see more videos. The only videos that I actually send to my subscribers really is my scratch card videos. So, you know, if you do subscribe, I do apologise if you're not interested in watching that particular playlist, but it's my big one really, so you know, I keeps to that one more than I do anything else. But yeah, I will be uploading a video every Friday morning now, and we'll see how it goes. If you did like it, as I said, like and share the like and share the video if you want to, and even make a comment. Like I said, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. Until next week, ta-da people.